Hello everybody, this is Sala and you guys are welcome to this exciting course on C Sharp. In this course, we are learning C Sharp step by step. As you know, we are working with collections in C Sharp. We have already talked about linear array in our previous lecture and two-dimensional array in the last lecture. Now the last collection in the array category is the jagged array. So let's move on and learn this interesting data structure of the collection. Jagged array is also called array of arrays. That means an array with multiple arrays inside. When we create a jagged array, then you will see it's simply a collection of multiple arrays. Jagged array also has two dimensions, rows and columns, just like the two-dimensional array we covered in the last lecture. So we have two data structures with rows and columns, two-dimensional array and jagged array. Now the question here is, what is the actual difference between the two-dimensional and the jagged array? To get the answer of this question, let's study the diagram on the screen. The diagram on the screen tells you the difference, right? It cannot be simplified further. A two-dimensional array is always rectangular. We know that from the previous lecture. All the rows must have the same number of columns. This is a requirement. Whereas in the jagged array, rows can have multiple number of columns, as you see in the diagram. That is the main difference between the three-dimensional and the jagged array. Another difference lies in predefined construction. Two-dimensional array has its predefined construction syntax, whereas jagged array is constructed by combining multiple arrays into one. So these are the two main differences between the two-dimensional array and the jagged array. And when we write code, you will get more understanding of it. So let's move on and do some practice. I have saved this code from the previous lecture where we have a two-dimensional array and the array has 3 rows and each row has 4 columns. And like I said, two-dimensional array has a requirement. All the rows must have the same number of columns. For example, if I try to insert another column here, 104, and you can see the structure is disturbed. And the error says, I think initializer of length 5 is expected. That means we must increase the length of the column to make all of them 5. Right, so this cannot be done in two-dimensional array. But in jagged array, you can have multiple rows containing different number of columns. For example, in a store, you have 3 payment counters. So each row is actually representing a payment counter and the column values are representing the number of customers coming forward to a payment counter and paying there. In this situation, you cannot always have the same number of customers to each counter. So the number of customers going to the counters can never be the same. We all know that is a common observation. So in this situation, jagged array can be a choice because you are not sure about the length of the columns. I hope you guys got my point. Let's move on and learn to initialize the jagged array. Jagged array has its own syntax and it is simply declared like this. We are going to create an integer array, 2 pairs of large brackets like this. This simply tells the compiler we are going to create a jagged array, and right after that we need to select the name of the array. Let's say the name is jagged array new, and once again 2 large brackets. And now in the first large brackets we need to decide the number of rows. Only the number of rows you need to decide. The column value is not needed. That is the point, right? The number of columns can be different in each row. Now let's say I want to create a jagged array with 3 rows. I will put 3 in the row section. That's it. Now we have declared a jagged array which has 3 rows. At this point, our array is totally empty. It only has reserved 3 places for the rows. The memory representation of this line of code you see on the screen, 3 reserved places for the rows. That's it. Now in the second step after the declaration, we are going to assign columns to each row, and each column is actually a linear array, the structure you see here, and that's why jagged also called array of arrays. So we need 3 linear arrays, 1 for each row, and those arrays can have multiple columns. So let's now create 3 linear arrays. For example, the first array is A, which has values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's copy it. This is, and here we have the third row, and they have multiple values. For example, 8, 9, and here we have only 5 values. Now we are going to assign these linear arrays containing different columns to each row. How do we do that? Jagged array of row 1, we are going to assign the first array like this. Jagged array of row 1, the second array, and jagged array of row 2, the third linear array. It might look confusing, right? We have a jagged array, we have a linear array, and now we are assigning linear arrays to the jagged array. The point here is you understand the term or the construction of the jagged array. Like I said, jagged array is actually an array of arrays, and here you see the practical example. It's an array of multiple arrays. Now the diagram on the screen can further simplify the concept. As you can see in the diagram, each row is actually pointing to a fully constructed array. Row 0 is pointing to A, row 1 is pointing to B, and row 2 is pointing to C. This diagram can be further simplified, and here you see the simplified version. And this is the diagram I want you to memorize. We have 3 rows and each row has multiple columns. That's it. Let's move on. So what did we actually do? We declared a jagged array with 3 row places, and in the second step we assigned column values to each row. So we created a jagged array in 2 different steps: declaration, and here we have assignment. But just like any other data type, jagged array can also be initialized. So here you see an initialization. At the time of the creation, we are inserting the values. So how do we initialize a jagged array is an important thing to understand. Let's learn the initialization of the jagged array. It's very simple. Just like a 2-dimensional array, we need curly braces like this. And now each row is actually a separate array. So we are going to copy this piece of code here. We will put inside the array, and we need to modify it a bit like this. And now remove the semicolon and put the comma. And then put a semicolon to terminate the statement. So this is a more practical way to initialize a jagged array. Things are the same here. Program will create 3 rows and each row has multiple columns. As you can see here, right? The length of the columns are different. Now there is another syntax which can also be used here to further simplify the creation of jagged array. And that syntax is, we do not need a linear array creation syntax like this. And instead of that, we will use the large brackets around our column values like this. This is much better than the previous one. Now it looks much better and resembles quite a lot with the initialization of the 2-dimensional array. As you can see here, the resemblance. So that was all about the creation of the jagged array. Now the next step here is the use of the length property. Jagged array, now we know, is an array of arrays. So length property is used here. Let me put a comment, length property. We need to learn the use of the length property to get the number of rows and the number of columns on each row. So to get the number of rows from the jagged array, we apply the length property directly on the array's name, which simply returns the number of rows, and the output here should be 3 because we have 1, 2, 3 rows. Let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output in the console, right? The number of rows are 3. So apply length property directly on the array to get the number of rows. Now to get the number of columns from each row, we code like this. Jagged array, we need to point to the row, for example, row 0 of length. Now we want to get the length of an array which is assigned to row 0. And this is the array which is assigned to row 0, and here we have a length 7. So let's run the program and check the output. still says 7 in the output. Number of columns in the first row. Now, another thing that we need to investigate here is how to access individual component. The method is the same. Use the row and column index value. Now, for example, I wanna print the value 8 from the second row. So I will write a statement like jagged array. The row is second and the index value of the second row is 1. And now the index value of this component, we must count the index value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So the column value is 7 and this will simply return the value 8, the component. Let's run the program and check the output. And so you see the output in the console, right? Component 8 from the second row. So that was the length property and how to reach a single component. Now, the last thing here and the most important thing here is loop through the jagged array. We know from the previous lecture that we need nested for loops in order to loop through array with 2 dimensions. Jagged array has also 2 dimensions, row and column. That means we need nested for loops. The outer loop will simply point to the row and the inner loop will go each column in the pointed row. This is how we iterate over 2 dimensions structure. So let's have the nested for loop. This is our first for loop and inside that we will have another for loop. The outer for loop gonna select the rows one by one and the inner loop will select and go through the columns of the selected row by the outer loop. So to get the number of rows, we will simply apply the length property on the array. This will return value 3, number of rows, and the valid rows indexes are 0, 1, 2. So this loop will go through all the rows 0, 1, 2. And to get the column length of each rows, we will code exactly like this, but instead of the constant value, we will use the loop variable. We also need to change the loop variables here. We can make it more simplified if we change the name of our variables like rows and columns like this. To get the length of each column, jagged array of row dot length. Simple is that when the value of the row is 0, we will get the length of the first array here, which is 7. And in the second round, when the value is increased and become 1, we will get the length of this one. And in the second round, we will get the length of this one. Now we can print out all the values. Jagged array of row of column and a line break when the entire row is printed, console write line. We can also put a space between the components. Let's put a space here like this. Now run the program and you will see all the values in the console. I think we need to use the write method instead of write line. You see the line break after each component. So instead of write line, we are going to use write method. Now we see a beautiful output. And here we see all the values from all the rows and columns, right? So this is how we loop through a jagged array in C#. So my friends, that was the jagged array we covered in this lecture. Jagged array is just another 2-dimensional data structure. Do some practice with this array. We can have, for example, a string array instead of the integer array. Use the indices to print the values manually. Try to use the length property and then try to loop through the entire array. Now we are done with the array collections in C#. We know how to create and use linear array, 2-dimensional array, and jagged array. The next collection on the list is the list collection. List is generic and dynamic. We will discuss more about it. It's a very practical and a very useful collection. So we will discuss this collection in the next lecture. I will see you there. Thanks for watching this one.